Have you ever wondered what top level, or even high level Smash players are thinking about when they're playing? While streaming, I was asked by one of my viewers to narrate my thought process as I was playing. Though I may not match the skill level at the very top, I'm still a very established and well-traveled player myself. I thought it would be a good chance to show off some of the thoughts that pass through my mind when I'm playing, so that I can stay engaged and adapt to my opponent. Hope you all enjoy the video. This match coming up here, I'll try and articulate my thought process. Okay? Let's see. So for Bayo, generally the big thing for me is I usually try and SDI out of the combos, and I also try to make sure that I'm ready for the burst option in neutral. So generally I try and kind of adopt like a farther stance. As soon as that like up tilt, for example, hit me, I start thinking into kind of defense mode. But then at this point, it's sort of about trying to figure out where's like the best opportunity for me to get my opening, but also steer clear of theirs. So right now I'm maybe a little bit too far away, but if I can get in, I can hopefully convert that into more minor punish, but something not too bad. Tried to read some hits on the shield, but now we're kind of off in the air. It didn't fully link into a combo. Tried to read a roll in based off of the pressure. They're probably going to do side B shortly. They didn't, so now we reset, see if it happens again. It didn't. So I definitely could be putting harder pressure up close, and that's probably what I'll try and do a little bit more of. I wanted to delay out there to try and see if I could force a spot dodge or something similar. Waited for overextension there, but they didn't give me one. They're doing a good job patiently waiting out my options. So now we're going to set up a tech situation potentially. They dodged it. Now we're in bit defense mode again. There's some lag on that landing because of all the special moves used. So that's why I went for the forward air, just went all in. Delay to try and kind of put some pressure on and force a mistake. Important part there was staying close just to make sure that they're not in a spot that makes it an easy escape, so they have to feel like they have to press a button. So similar there. Force them to jump. Drop down. Choosing very like sharky sort of positions at the moment. Ooh. Ah! Okay, not the greatest spot. Very laggy, so very punishable. I've tried a few times now on that platform thing. I probably could have dropped it a while back because of the option choices they were doing, but now I'm actually going to try my best to just follow through rather than read the next option. That was a very laggy attack, so there was potential for a punish there, but I wasn't quite spaced well enough for it. Same with this. Tried to force an option there. Tried to read the option, but I got hit by the get up attack. Dash attack. Ooh, okay, yeah, they hit me. So I'm way out of range. Now I'm just going to wait and see where they're going to be adopting a position. Roll through when they overcommit. Get killed. And then get that. So usually in a juggle situation, I'm trying to stay relatively low to the ground and close in when it's a little bit more accessible, the punish, just to make sure that I'm not throwing myself out of position. So now I'm going to grab, manage to get the space in. I'm going to tilt a little bit more here, just hopefully try and get a ledge trap going. I didn't. Now we're in trouble, but I'm going to try and SDI and stay above because they weren't really in a good spot to convert that way. Again, put pressure in from the side. I delayed it so that it was a little bit awkward in terms of trying to figure out when to break out. Now going to hold off on that again. This is going to be tough. Okay, I'm still alive. Get a punish on that. And then try and read. Not quite red. At this percent now, it might... Oh. At this percent, it might be more viable to just hold stage positioning, but that was an unfortunate win box moment. Got caught pressing a button. I can try the same thing with Sheik here, but I think with Sheik it'll be quite hard to keep up. Basically, the gist is, like, while there is a lot of thought process kind of going on, the actual ideas behind it when I'm thinking about it in my head, what's really important to kind of keep in mind, too, is that it's not necessarily, like, meant to be extremely deep for me. It's just kind of giving me, like, almost like breadcrumbs for me to have an idea of what solutions I need to apply. So basically, like, if I see a situation where it's like, okay, I need to close the distance, or maybe I'm getting stuffed out with the same options that I'm doing over and over again, then I have to start mixing it up. But I would already know some of the options that I'd want to mix up with, right? Rather than just kind of like coming up with it on the fly. If I just come up with it on the fly, it's going to be hard for me to fully, you know, diversify, I guess, so to speak. So let's go back into it here, though, with Sheik. The big thing with Sheik is that the trades actually can work okay for me, or at least basically, like, we can generally outdamage Sheik. Shield is very good in this matchup. I really want to avoid certain situations, so at this percent here, a big thing that's going to really get me in trouble is a nair near ledge. You can see the way that they're doing those nairs. If I can get out of those situations, it's good. I also want to be very conscientious of how I decide to air dodge. If I'm a little bit too obvious with my air dodges, they can be red. And then things like up air, which might not be easy to confirm for sure, or make a true combo out of. They start to go on the table because I'm caught in the airspace. Tried to go for an F smash, didn't quite work out, but that's okay, worked out for me. Ooh, in trouble. I'm hoping for an overextension there, but they did a good job. They shield stabbed the back of my shield actually there. Okay, high percent. So now at this point, it's basically like very difficult for Sheik to get like a kill. So as you can see, as I'm getting F tilted, I know to just jump out, and Sheik can't really get up there in time. That was a good trump there. Took advantage of me kind of holding for a little bit too long there. Now I'm just going to try and play a little more patient, mostly because I have a lead here to work with, so I'm not really too worried about kind of throwing everything at it. I'm just more so going to play kind of positionally sound. Unfortunately got opened up there. This is good spacing on their part. They committed, and I went above instead. So now I get stage positioning back. Waiting for kind of overextensions on his part. That one I tried to cover a high recovery, so I kind of overextended on my part. Good stab. Unfortunately, SD there on their part. And I have to be careful about how long I stay in the air too here, because if I spend too much time in the air, a lot of the moves that Sheik has are very active, and she lands faster than me. So the idea is that, like, if I decide to just sort of hover in the air to try and get around a lot of options, while I can do it, it doesn't necessarily get me out of trouble. So I have to think more about how I can use my hitboxes to kind of help me cover ground as well too. So you can see that I'm using forward air. I tried to use a back air there, but it didn't quite work out. I lost my stock. Still very reasonable spot to be in though. And it's also very hard to lock down Sheik enough for a grab. But for example, like there, I can catch it on a nair if the nair is not well spaced. This could be big. Didn't quite get a full conversion off, but still reasonable conversion. Alright, 1% is not bad. I almost got put in a ledge trap situation though, which would have sucked. Hoping to catch an overextension here right now, so I'm just kind of hopping in an airspace. It's a little hard for him to just kind of blanketly challenge. Quick back air to back air. This is going to hurt. Alright, hop up because it's going to be hard for a full kind of supreme punish there. That was a good down air. Okay. I have to be careful not to hop in too, not unexpectedly, a little bit too predictably. So, tried to delay it, but good coverage on their part. Gonna go for a cheesy option, roll side B. Didn't work out. Tried to read a little bit of some movement on the platform there. Cover, jump, or drop from ledge there. Dash attack, because I haven't really done it. claims the space. Now this is a tough spot for him. Tried to get him punished, didn't work out. Got a roll by accident there. That's not quite what I meant to do. Tried to claim airspace with the up air, but they did a good job getting around it. This could be a confirm, but I messed it up a little bit. So now at this point, we're basically trying to both look for confirms or just like serious stage positioning. They're doing a good job with the needles. Gonna claim airspace, landing up air. Didn't quite kill, but was very close. Wow. Yeah. So tried to get the forwarder out. I think it was just before the last hit came out. So then they really snuck under there with the down tilt. Really good play there.